Probably the most common way to write an essay is by using the 5-paragraph essay format. So today we're going to take a quick look at how to write a 5-paragraph essay. Now the first thing that you'll want to do is to come up with a thesis. So a thesis is a statement about what you want to prove. So what is the subject of your thesis? Well, you want to find something that, first of all, you're interested in, but also that the reader's going to be interested in as well. Now, usually in a school setting, the teacher will assign essay topic or a few different essay topics that you can choose from. So once you have a subject picked out, you'll want to come up with a thesis statement. So your thesis statement is something about the subject. What is your stance? The more specific you are, the easier it will be to write an essay. It's really hard when you have a general idea of what you want to talk about because there's just too many things that you can put in. So actually having a more specific, a more defined thesis statement will actually help you. Some things to think about: would somebody want to read this? Is it a fresh perspective? Is it interesting? These are all why would someone want to read your essay? Well, your thesis statement will also be your first sentence. So it needs to be something that's captivating, something that your audience will want to read more about. And finally, your thesis should say what you're going to be talking about. Not making any arguments yet, but overall, what are you trying to prove? What message are you trying to send? So clearly state what you are intending to say. Your thesis statement should be short, concise, and also clearly explain what your essay is about. Now that you have your thesis statement, it's time to start brainstorming ideas on how to prove your thesis. So these are actually the body paragraphs. Making a word cloud or doing some preliminary research is a good way to get started, and try to narrow it down to 3 points that you want to discuss. Each of those points should become a statement. Each of those statements should be related to the thesis and help prove the thesis. So now that you've made a statement, now it's time to prove your statement. Each point should be its own unique paragraph in your essay. So each paragraph should start with one of your statements and then go on to prove or explain it. So your body paragraph may include things like evidence, statistics, data, tables, raw data, surveys, or examples, hypothetical situations, anecdotes, and opinions, or even explanations, connections, and significance. So this is a long list. I want to take a look at a few of these. Evidence, statistics, data, tables, raw data, and surveys are all types of hard data that can be used to strengthen your argument. However, not everyone is convinced by numbers. So using examples, creating a hypothetical situation, adding your opinion or anecdotes are ways to captivate your audience. They can be very effective when trying to convince someone from an emotional point of view. Also consider adding explanations, connecting your ideas to other ideas, and explaining the significance of what you're trying to prove. Now these don't have to be separate things. You can add a survey and discuss what the survey means and how it relates to your thesis. Same with anecdotes. You can explain how it's connected. Your anecdotes might contain data as well. So one method of remembering this is called PIE, which is point, information, and explanation. First, make your point. What are you trying to say? Then add evidence and information to back that up. Then explain how that proves the point. Finally, relate that point to your thesis. Consider easy transitions between sentences. For this, we'll need to use a lot of transition words. Transition words, or conjunctive adverbs, are a way to make your sentences flow together and also show connection. So, for example, however, also, but, lastly, firstly, second, additionally, furthermore. I'll leave a link in the description to a website that has a pretty good list. Your goal for the body paragraphs is for the reader to effortlessly understand the points that are being presented. Finally, at the end of your body paragraph, you'll need a concluding sentence. Your concluding sentence just summarizes what you've been talking about in this paragraph. You may even restate your point, but in different words. So now we have 3 body paragraphs. Now the introduction paragraph is very simple. Start with your thesis, and then state your 3 main points. And these should be pretty easy because they're what your body paragraphs are about. Remember that in the introduction paragraph, we don't need to make any points or arguments. We're just stating what we're going to talk about. There is a famous line, first I tell them what I'm going to tell them, then I tell them, and then I tell them what I told them. And that's basically what the 5-paragraph essay is all about. In the introduction, tell them what you're going to tell them. Body paragraphs is when you tell them, and your concluding paragraph is when you tell them what you just told them. So the concluding paragraph is very similar to the introduction paragraph. You'll restate your thesis and the points from your body paragraphs. You can also add in your strongest evidence for each point, but remember you're not making an argument here, it's just a summary, a recap of what you've already talked about. Your concluding sentence should be a strong declaration of what the reader should now believe. And there you have it, a 5-paragraph essay. Thank you for your time.